Okay, thank you very much. All right. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here in front of you all today. So, my name is Joel Ramos. I also go by Jeffrey DePaul, my professional pen name. And tonight, I would like to share information about Resonant Destiny, my venture for a role-playing video game meant for consoles and PC. So, to give a brief overview, I'll be talking about what is Resonant Destiny and what I've been doing with regards to the idea before the accelerator. And then after, we'll be talking about what was achieved during the accelerator as well as future plans. So I just like to give some background before I start. I started writing down ideas for Resonant Destiny as early as January 2019. This was still when I was still in getting my first bachelor's degree at the University of California, Riverside as a chemical engineering major before I came to Bakersfield in 2022. So I started having ideas for making a good, fun RPG after I got into the Japanese RPG scene the following winter. I started playing more Japanese RPGs, and I really liked the gameplay as well as the stories, and I really wanted to make a game that's similar to that, but with its own twist. And which I'll be getting to soon. So as you can see here, the picture you see here is the hero from the game that I want to create. I drew this picture a couple months ago, and this was on a notebook that I had for an art class. So it's pretty cool. And it's pretty exciting to share this with you all. Okay, so what is Resonant Destiny? What is this role-playing game that I want to share? Well, it's going to be a single-player role-playing video game or RPG, and it's going to be inspired by the likes of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. For those who remember playing classic games like Final Fantasy on maybe like the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation, this will come very familiar to some people in the audience, especially those who played those games in the past. Now, for those who still remember, many games like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, they have very good stories. It's a hallmark of the genre of Japanese role-playing video games, but however, they tend to be very linear, which means that there's not a whole lot of meaningful decisions that the player can make that will alter the story. With this, however, I plan to make this a bit different. The key defining feature of Resonant Destiny that will set it apart from the other games out there is its player-driven narrative. Now, the game's story dynamically changes with each player, with each choice that the player makes, actually. I even had a slogan for this game that perfectly embodies the spirit of decision-making and player choice. And I plan to call it by the game where you essentially choose your own fate, the RPG where you choose your own fate, essentially. Because I feel that that's going to be a very integral part of the narrative design of the game, is giving the player more freedom to affect the story the way that they want it to be. So this can be very simple, as in whether or not you want to fight for the good guy or the bad guy, but will also involve many nuanced turns in the story that will keep the player engaged for a longer period of time. So I have another picture up on the screen, and this is a mock-up that I created during my time at the accelerator. And one of the assignments that Professor Woods gave everyone was working on the business ventures, but the specific one he gave for me was to try to make wireframe mock-ups of the game's gameplay. And I made one of these mock-ups right here. This picture shows the battle system and the immersive battle features of the game. And that's going to be another key defining feature, is its immersive battle system and its cool gameplay features. So this picture here, this looks very similar to what you see in a Final Fantasy game or any other game that follows this formula. But like I said, it'll have its own twists and turns, and over time, it'll be made into a game that will have its own legacy and stand by its own right. So before the accelerator, I've done quite a few pieces of work on the Resonant Destiny idea. As I said earlier, I started writing ideas for this game as early as 2019, the winter of 2019. And what I've done was I prepared several documents detailing many different gameplay mechanics. The first document that I produced was back last year in June 2021, when I was still in San Diego. I didn't attend CSU Bakersfield yet, but I did. But what I did was I prepared a master design document detailing all the game elements, as well as the gameplay design, the story, and the themes. And I wanted to have a definitive blueprint of what I want the game to be. And furthermore, I also prepared many different monster manuals too. Now, what is a monster manual? Well, it's essentially it's essentially a document that has all the artwork for all the monsters that will be in the game. So for those who don't know, in a role-playing game, there's the player gets a choice to fight many different monsters in the game, and they could range from things such as goblins, dragons, and big insects, and more too. So I wanted to draw a lot of monsters for the game. So I prepared 2 volumes of the monster manual. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. And as for the technical side, I started to learn how to use Unity back a couple months ago, maybe back around April or so. And I started writing code in C# for the game, for essentially a prototype of the game. And part of my desire and part of my reason that I wanted to be in the accelerator was my desire to obtain more resources for completing the game, because I'm the only one working on it right now. And while there have been some instances of game developers just making a game all by themselves, I'm not too sure if I'll be able to do it all by myself. So that's why I kind of wanted to come up to Professor Woods and Professor Cruz as well from the CECS department to see what I can do in order to get more help. So here's some examples of illustrations that I have. As I said, I prepared 2 volumes of monster manuals for the game's characters and monsters that the player will be fighting throughout the stages of the game. So the one on the left is a big tree, and the player will have their party of heroes, and then they will use each ability of the heroes to fight monsters such as this. And I also have a giant toad monster on the right as well, that also has a tree on the top. I really wanted to make the mod designs look very unique and very ethereal as well. And the centerpiece here is the female hero in the center. Now, I plan to have this feature to where the player can either choose to be a male or a female hero, and the picture on the center is essentially designed for the female hero. There's also okay, so sorry about that. Sorry, I'm getting too carried away. So I've achieved a lot of accomplishments during the accelerator in regard to this game. I managed to get a lot of good information from Professor Woods and many of the other speakers that were in the accelerator, as well as and especially Dr. Alberto Cruz from the CECS department. He was able to provide a lot of good help in trying to get more resources for the game. So access to labor and resources through the CECS department, the computer science and electrical engineering departments at CSUB. I was able to get essentially get contacts to gain access to labor and resources from Professor Cruz and the others within the department. And I also wanted the possibility of turning the game into a class project, something that Professor Woods and Dr. Cruz also suggested to me as well. And that way more coders will be able to assist in the development of the project, because I'll be able to have more people join me as a part of this project. Now, we wanted to see what classes what would be acceptable to have this as an MV, to have the game started right away. So the main goal is to create an MVP right now. And I've identified with Dr. Cruz 3 classes that might have opportunities to make the game. And that's going to be computer science 3390 application development, 4350 advanced software engineering, as well as the 2 senior project courses for the computer science department. This presents the challenge of balancing the school schedule as well as the business venture, because a lot of times computer science students often have a lot in their plate, and adding another class such as 3390, 4350, and 4910 could be overwhelming for a lot of people that are still studying computer science at CSUB. But Dr. Cruz and Professor Woods said that they'll be able to provide assistance with managing tasks and schedules. So the future plans of this accelerator is to find a music composer and graphic designer and video game artist, because I've been really inspired by a lot of the music as well as the art of Final Fantasy and games like it. And but I don't know if I'll be able to make art or make music as good as those games. So that's something that I want to look forward to and do and accomplish by sometime in the future, essentially. And like I said, the plan is to generate an MVP, an initial MVP, within the span of 1 to 2 years. So ideally, an initial MVP should be produced by the end of the 2023 spring semester. We also plan to have incremental additions to the initial MVP in subsequent semesters, and it will be done in cooperation with other students within the field of computer science and electrical engineering in CSUB. And just in case if something happens within that time period, I'm flexible enough to push the deadline to spring 2024. Now, this provides some benefits to should I push it to 2024, as this provides the benefit of using the 2 senior project classes for game development. So that'll provide me with more time as they span 2 semesters instead of 1, like some of the other classes that CSU Bakersfield offers. So I guess that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much. Like I said, it's been an honor to be up here. And I'd like to thank Professor Woods as well as the other people involved in the accelerator for providing me the opportunity to have the accelerator this semester. So once again, thank you.